You know the love I gave you is slipping from your hand, 'cause I was born to wonder.
What's up, Vinyl Community? What's up, YouTube? Hello!
The sound.
That is tasty. Oh my goodness. Welcome to Cosmic Vinyl. I am Cosmic Brian, your host, the zaniest host of any Vinyl Community channel, probably the most insane and sometimes out of control. Gonna try and keep myself a little bit more in check this video, but yeah, this is what we're listening to right here. I showed this in the last video. This is the West Coast Pop Art Experimental Band, Part 1. Showed it last video in the top most listened to albums from the Cosmic Collection. And one of the reasons that's the tops is that song we were just listening to, Shifting Sands. Holy, that's such a great psychedelic jam. And there's also another track I didn't talk about called Help, I'm a Rock. Quirky, weird, tripped out. You've got all these different voices saying Help, I'm a Rock with a backdrop of some groovy psychedelic music. And I think that song was also on Frank Zappa's Freak Out album. I think that might be the same track. I'm not sure. But yeah, so this will fit right in for the topic of this video, which is going to be 10 of my favorite psychedelic albums from the Cosmic Collection. Been wanting to do this one for quite some time, and now is the time to birth this psychedelic trapezoid video that you're about to witness. What am I talking about? Anyway, you guys ready for a little bit of a drink? I'm going to toast you guys for... I just want to say thanks to everybody who follows Cosmic Vinyl, everybody who subscribes, everybody who likes, everybody who watches, man, everybody who comments. I love the comments. This one's for you, Vinyl Community. Love you guys, man. Cheers, VC.
Oh, yes, my good friend, of course.
Man, I joined the Vinyl Community probably, 5 or 6 years ago, I think around that time. And man, when I came in, there was a lot of very, very cool psychedelic channels, man. All of them had a huge influence on Cosmic Vinyl. And I mean, you had guys like Dan from Dots and Loops, you had Bo from Earhead 6, you had a cat named Dallas Pez, you had Don Cole, Daniel Bonilla, and of course you've got guys that are still around that were from back then, like Hog's Ear Report. Ron, man, that guy has one of the most amazing psychedelic collections ever. As does Psychedelic. Oh my God, Psychedelic. He has some of the most obscure, he has some great private press psych stuff. He has a knack for finding some great records in the psychedelic realm. Go back and check out Psychedelic's early videos, man. And it's like he grew up in the Vinyl Community, man. He looks like a kid back then. I may even put a picture right here. No offense, my friend Derek, but it's awesome, man. Check out his channel. Of course, you still got Dylan from Noble Records. You've got 33 RPM Vinyl. You got Jeff. You got Burnout Shelter Jeff. Dom from Seeking a Thread. And then you've got some newer psych channels like Michael from Near Wild Heaven. Dave the Pickup Artist. Martin's Vinyl, you've got Sublime Media, Soren Vinyl, and my guru of the galaxy, Rick Strange, man. There's still a lot of great psych channels representing an amazing genre of music. Man, I didn't know jack squat about psychedelic music. I mean, I'm sure I heard the stuff that made it to the radio, like Donovan and Iron Butterfly and stuff, and Tommy James. I mean, I'd heard a lot of that stuff, but before I joined the vinyl community, I had no idea, and that's why it quickly became one of my favorite genres, and I was in the rabbit hole deep, and I'm still in there digging around. So, yeah, you guys ready to check out some vinyl and have me quit rapping? All right, let's do this. I'm stoked. What about you cats? Let's do it. Okay, here's the first one. Velvett Fogg, and let that cover soak in a little bit. That's the other thing about psychedelic music and the albums. The cover art, the colors, everything about it, the presentation, the whole thing is just crazy. But this was released in 1969. By this quasi-mystical heavy psych band out of Birmingham, England. Yeah, some cool trippy melodies. Man, this band actually had, I think Tony Iommi was in this band until like 1968. That's great. But songs like Yellow Cave Woman, Once Among the Trees, you've also got Plastic Man. This is great. And check this out, man. You got a great story on the back about the band. And then, of course, you've got this groovy, perfectly colored purple vinyl. Man, that is beautiful. It couldn't have been any other color but that. It fits the music and the cover perfectly. But yeah, check out Velvett Fogg. And this one I mentioned in the last video but didn't show it, and that's July. Get a load of that cover. That's absolutely killer. I know you might be getting a little glare there, but yeah, how great is that? This one's released in 1968. This is British psych band right here as well. Fantastically melodic psych, acid rock moments on this. Sounds very much like Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd, which I really dig that Pink Floyd era. So killer vocal harmonies. I mean, these guys used everything in their arsenal, man. All the psychedelic tropes are shown on this album. Did they master any of them? Maybe not, but still a great psychedelic album. I love this, man. This is one of the first psychedelic albums I got turned on to. Seen Dan from Dots and Loops show this one. Probably the first time I seen it. But yeah, you've got tracks like My Clown, Dandelion Seeds, The Way. Man, this is just chock full of great British psychedelia. And now this next one was one of the biggest bands out of the Bosstown scene right here. And this is Ultimate Spinach, Behold and See. Before I scored this album, it was literally on my list of Grail albums. And like I said, I don't use that word very often, but this was definitely a Grail. Released in 1968 on MGM. I absolutely love those MGM inner sleeves for all the color. So great. But yeah, man, Boston band. Male-female vocals. I've heard this described as darkly utopian. Fits. I think it fits, man. Nope. I could see that. Plenty of groovy, distorted guitar. Great songwriting. But I gotta tell you, man, the secret weapon on this album is a track called Mind Flowers. And I got a little story to tell. So when I lived back in Iowa, I would wait till my family went to bed, like my wife and girls, and I'd get up and I'd go downstairs and I'd go out in my car, smoke a little bit of Ultimate Spinach and sit in my car and plug in my phone to the stereo, and I'd pull up a psychedelic playlist and just sit there and freak out, right? That was the first time I heard the track Mind Flowers. and I was like, I thought I was being transported to another dimension. I mean, I was freaking out. It was such a, I mean, I had to look around, make sure there wasn't anything like outside the car in the dark lurking around. And then right after that track came Among from the band Can. Oh my God. But man, if you listen to Mind Flowers, it'll make you trip even if you haven't taken any drugs, man. Check out this Ultimate Stench, Behold and See, and their first record, Primo Boss Town Sound Psychedelia right there. Now this is one I bought totally blind. This is Graffiti. I bought it at a record store down here in the Lou. This is really cool, man. East Coast Psychedelia here as well. Features vocalist Tony Taylor, who prior to this band was in a group called the Hangmen, kind of a semi-garage type band. And they kind of morphed into what is known as Graffiti here. Just Psychedelic acid rock, released in 1968. Somewhat complex arrangements on this. It was a bit of a grower for me. The first time I heard it, I wasn't quite sold, but I knew there was something there. And what it was is this dark and meditative vibe that I was getting, man. Check out the gatefold. There's the band there. They look great. But stony lyrics, outstanding vocals by Tony Taylor, killer vocal harmonies, fuzzy organ and guitars, just rips. This band is kind of like a psychedelic version of like The Association. I know that seems weird, but you have to hear it to kind of pick up on what I'm trying to lay down for you. But man, just a great, well-balanced psychedelic album right there. Now this one, if you're even remotely into psychedelic music, you'll recognize this band. And this is Easter Everywhere by the 13th Floor Elevators. Wow, check out that great cover, man. That's so cool. This was released in 1967 on the International Artist label. I talked a little bit about that when I showed Lost and Found the other day. But this is truly a pure psychedelic album by the legendary Rocky Erickson from Texas, no less, man. We talked about Texas psych and how unique it is. But yeah, Rocky Erickson's lyrics come from a place that few people have ever ventured to, and even fewer people have made their way back. Rocky made it back, but not all the way back. You know, if you know anything about Rocky's issues, man. But with this thing is just, you know that the lyrical content and the whole album, the music, everything is highly drenched in LSD and marijuana, which makes this like I said, pure psych right here, man. Total tripped out. Great Eastern influence cover art there, man. Lots of biblical and extraterrestrial references in the songs, man. There's a great track on here called Slip Inside This House, which I quotes like from Revelations out of the Bible. Very spiritual, hypnotic, and surreal psychedelic album by the 13th Floor Elevators. Crazy. Now this one is one of the heaviest psych albums I'm going to show you here, man. If you haven't checked this out, this is GREYLOCK Mansion. This was recorded in 1969. It never did get a proper release, but in 2015, Lysergic Sound Distributors, get it? LSD, Lysergic Sound Distributors? Yeah! Put it out on this reissue right here. Tucson, Arizona psychedelic band. This is probably the heaviest, most haunting psychedelia I've ever heard, man. Overtly dark and distorted. I get like an Iron Butterfly meets the Doors kind of vibe off of this. Perfect for Halloween, man, as it's got some creepy stuff on it, man. There's a song called Spiders, Time Machine, Sanctum Sanctorum. There's a song called Mars. Look at that groovy cat, man. But yeah, this cover, man, says it all. This is just heavy. If you like heavy psych and B-movie horror and crazy stuff like that, then you'll probably dig GREYLOCK Mansion. Now this next one is a fantastic classic psych album by the band Tomorrow with their self-titled outing. This is so killer. Released in 1968 on the Parlophone label, and I gotta show you this. I showed you the last Parlophone I showed a couple of videos ago is that Genesis Gods, and this is just follows suit. Look at that gorgeous colored vinyl. It's like a red, white, and blue. It's like a firework exploding in my hands. I love it, man. But yeah, this is opens up with a track called My White Bicycle. Again, just a mass of trippiness and psychedelia. Kind of in the vein of like Pink Floyd, like I said, Pink Floyd era, or Syd Barrett era Pink Floyd. Very cool. It's very druggy, melodic, quirky at times, but super psychedelic. A little Beatlesque at times. In fact, they do cover Strawberry Fields by the Beatles. It's almost like a note-for-note cover track, which is weird. But yeah, this band features Pre-Yes, Steve Howe. You've got Keith West on vocals. You've got Twink from Pink Fairies on drums. Man, you've got a lot of talent there, man, and it's a great record. Now, this next album, when I first came into the vinyl community, I remember seeing guys talk about, the psychedelic guys were always talking about trying to get this album that was kind of a grail and everybody wanted it. And if it wasn't for this cover, then I don't know why, because that cover is gorgeous, man. But this is Gandalf. This is great. This was released in 1969 on Capitol Records. Now, Capitol Records were pretty straight edge kind of label up to a point, and they finally signed some bands kind of going outside the box, and this is one of those bands. Only thing is, man, they recorded this album, and then the record company never released it till a year later. By that time, the band was donezo and had went the way of the Buffalo. But yeah, man, this is great pop psych. It's mellow and mysterious, even somewhat seductive. I know that doesn't sound right, but it is, man. Listen to the opening track, Golden Earrings. I mean, the vocalist has this sultry vocal delivery. It's soft and haunting psych. This is just a great late night listen right here, man. I love this. Very H.P. Lovecraftian. You've got lots of reverb and echo and groovy organ. This is a gem. I see why all the psych guys were after that album. Almost home, guys. Two more. Now, this next one is a very common cover art theme for lots of bands. In fact, I used to get confused. I used to think this was the one I was getting when it was more like a band called Red Eye or another band. But this is Psychedelic Soul, the freak scene, Psychedelic Soul. And this is released in 1967 on Columbia Records. This is a group of studio musicians who had already released an album prior to this under as The Deep. I think it was called Psychedelic Moods, which I don't have, but I sure wish I did. But so they decided that they were kind of getting the hang of this psych thing, so they decided to put together another album, step it up a little bit. So they came up with this Psychedelic Soul record. It's wild and woolly sound effects, fuzzy guitars, tons of tape manipulation, man. They also, I think it's the phrase draft beer, not students, might have come from this album, I think. I don't know. But it's a crazy record, man. It also reminds me of the other saying, drop acid, not bombs. Or make love, not war. Peace, brothers and sisters. Cosmic Vinyl is in a vibe now, baby. Jeez. But yeah, Eastern Indian, Arabic influences here. I dig it for all the studio trickery just alone, man. It's great. Check out this Psychedelic Soul by the Freak Scene. All right, final record here. We made it. This one's by the QUINTET. This is a double album called Trip Through Hell. Now, this Sunday's reissue gives you a full album's worth of extra bonus material, and you've got like a quite lengthy interview there with somebody from the band about the band and the songs and stuff. But yeah, this Trip Through Hell has definitely got it looks like a trip through hell, and it sounds like one too, man. This is just wildly chaotic, non-cohesive. But you know what? I think it's supposed to be like that because it's trying to represent a trip through hell, which I assume would be quite uncomfortable, right? So that's what the music, it doesn't let you get comfortable and just kind of mellow out and listen. It's crazy. You got shit bouncing back and forth from speaker to speaker. There's this weird song with just drums that just goes back and forth. The opening tracks, and any track that has the title Trip Through Hell kind of has a spaghetti western vibe to it. Man, this is crazy garage psych, heavy psych, weirdness. QUINTET, Trip Through Hell. That's it. You made it to the end, Vinyl Community. It was a long, it was about 25 minutes. Thanks for sticking around, man. I appreciate you all so much. Show me some of your psych albums, man. I love seeing people show their psych stuff. First of all, it gives me a reference of something to pick up that I don't have. So, yeah, and check out some of those channels I mentioned. I'll try and put some links in the description. If you're here for the first time, hit the subscribe button, man. Join our quest to deliver the goods. But to spread the gospel of great music to YouTube and the world. And man, let us know you like us by hitting a thumbs up, man. Do whatever, man. Just hang out with us. We love having the more the merrier at Cosmic Vinyl. So stay cool, stay cosmic. We'll see you next video. Could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be never. No, I'm just kidding. Take it easy. Peace out.